Hello, I'm Tom Tinsley with East Coast Real Estate Group, a local property management company proudly serving Frederick, Washington, Berkeley, and Jefferson counties in Maryland and West Virginia. And today I want to talk about an extremely hot topic, inflation, and more specifically, inflation in rental real estate. To start the conversation, we have to talk a little bit about the U.S. economy overall. In 2021, inflation rose 7% across all industries, all products, an average of 7%, which was the highest percentage increase since 1982. Some of the products and services that are most notable in this inflation are energy, gasoline, housing, food at home, new vehicles, used vehicles, apparel, and medical supplies. And obviously, the trillions of dollars of cash that was put into the economy has a lot to do with this, but there are other pieces in play as well. So the pandemic did create supply constraints, soaring energy costs, labor shortages, which we'll talk about a little bit more, increased demand, and this information came from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So I want to talk about materials, right? Obviously, if you own a rental property or properties, you're going to have repairs that need to be done over time, and material costs rose 14.5% in 2021 through November. That was double the prior record of 2008. So very notable and something that you have to account for as we move forward until they stabilize. Labor is a very big topic, and I want to give you a real life example from our company. So prior to the pandemic, we had a cleaner who was with us for quite a while, and her rate at the time was $12 an hour or so. And once we separated with her, that position, for the most part, has been open, available, no one willing to do it, for about a year or a little bit more. Ironically, just yesterday, I saw the paperwork for a new cleaner, and we will be paying her $17 an hour. So to do the same job, we have to pay somebody 41.66% more. And that's just one example, right? So we work with a lot of vendors, and they are nice enough to send us courtesy communications, most of them when they are going to be increasing prices. And we have received several from maintenance companies, turnovers, ones that do turnovers, all the way to photographers, just across the board. Many of them are increasing prices because they have to, because it's costing them more to get the same job done. So it is very real, and it is also not done. And I know that for a fact because, as you know, as of today, there are help wanted signs everywhere, and signing bonuses and shortages. You go into a business and it's not running as well as it used to, right? Can be fast food restaurants, or the grocery store, or just so many different businesses are affected because they're not staffed properly. And it's because of this. It's because of the labor rate and also a shortage of laborers. So the next one I want to go into is property insurance. Last year, property insurance rose an average of 4%. Property taxes, many of the states and municipalities have not done very well financially since the beginning of the pandemic. So for them to stabilize their balance sheet, they're going to have to raise taxes, one of which is property taxes. I'll just give you two examples here. Chicago approved a $76 million increase on property taxes. Another one, Pittsburgh approved a $5.3 million increase. And there are many, 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 many more examples. I just grabbed a couple to show you that it is real, they're approved, it is coming, and I would anticipate that hitting this year. HOA dues are going to increase. Obviously, I don't have the numbers for all of the specific HOAs that are out there, but when material and labor costs rise, then the balance sheet for HOAs doesn't balance. So they're going to have to ask for more to be able to do the same things that they did before. And if you haven't gotten that increase, I would expect that this year as well. So I mentioned several issues and increased costs. You know, what can you do about it, right? What can we do about it? So the main lever that you have is to increase rents. So you need to increase rents. When it comes time for a lease renewal, you know, obviously there is guidance and legislation in some areas as to how much you can increase that. So you got to be very careful that you're compliant, but this is a time where you're going to absolutely increase the rent as much as you can without losing the tenant. You don't want to force a turnover and everything that goes into that because of it, but there's a fine line that we work through with the tenants to get it done. Vacancies is really where the moneymaker is. Again, some places do have legislation that control this as well. Most don't in our area, but you have to be compliant with that. But when you have a vacant property, you can drastically increase rent right now, right? So I grabbed some numbers, real numbers from our office and business, and you know, I would say the average rent has increased $200 to $500, right? Across, we have a diverse portfolio. Across our portfolio, an average of $200 to $500 compared to 2020. You know, studios have went up 75 to 100, one bedrooms 100 to 150, 2 to 3 bedrooms. There is a limit, but you can push it pretty high. And then I'll give you two examples of that, right? We have some that we were able to increase the rent, you know, $500 compared to what the prior tenant was paying when they lived there. There was one, for those that are local, real nice townhouse, really well done rehab in Martinsburg Manor Park that normally would have got $1,500. And I was talking to the owner. They did a really good job on the rehab, like I said, and they were pretty adamant about $2,000 a month. And so first I thought they were crazy. Second, the office thought I was crazy when I came to them and let them know what we were going to do. And all of that said, within 10 days, we had an extremely qualified tenant scheduling a move-in date at $2,000, right? So that owner is going to make $500 a month more than they had before. I have another example in downtown Hagerstown on South Mulberry. We had a 2020 lease of $1,150. And then in 2021, we signed a lease for $1,725. You know, there's a couple examples, but again, when the unit is vacant and rent ready, this is where you can really make up for a lot of these increased expenses. Another thing I definitely want to remind you of is to think big picture. You know, you're going to get these higher bills. And the initial instinct is going to be, you know, what can I do to get, you know, more money, right? Like, we've got to be realistic about it. Housing prices, values are also going up drastically, right? So you are making money while you may not see it at that moment. So property values are soaring. I'm going to give you some data on the median sales prices in a few counties that we work in. I know you won't be able to see this, but I'll go through just some of the numbers in Berkeley County, West Virginia. We have zip codes up 20%. This is Q4 year over year increase, right? So Q4 2021 versus the prior year, we have zip codes up 20.6%, 18.4, up 20.1, up 42.6, up 18.1, up 24.3, up 30.1%, right? Berkeley County, West Virginia. Frederick County, similar, different but similar. We have zip codes up 14.8, 18.1, 17.9, 17, 19, 92.3. I wish I owned that zip code. Up 92.3%. Other one's up 14, another one up 72, right? Just astronomical numbers, right? So you do have to keep this in mind, because you will be able to capture that large check one day when you do sell the property, or 1031 exchange, or there's lots of options. But Washington County, we have zip codes up 179.8%. My goodness. 28.9%, 17.5, 12.8. I think you get it, right? Like, it's everywhere, almost everywhere. There were some that lost, but keep that in mind, because it is real, right? Buying rental real estate is still the way to create wealth. You have the bank buy the house for you. You have the tenant pay the loan. You have companies like us do pretty much all of the work. You get monthly income, and then at the end you get a large lump sum paycheck, right? So it's still the way to go, even with the rising expenses. So again, I just wanted to talk to you today about inflation and rental real estate. If you would like to chat with us about your specific needs, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or hold, we would love to chat with you. Feel free to reach out to us, East Coast Real Estate Group. Thank you so much, and have a great day.